What's going on, everyone? Happy Monday. Is it Monday? I don't even know it's Monday. Welcome to the stream. My name is Jim. I'm going to be your one and only host for now and forever. Yeah, hope everyone is having a good day. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Hi, Dan. Hi, Dans, actually. Both Dans. Thanks for joining. Yeah, as you'll notice, my sound system works. My cameras work. My speakers work. So, always continuously improving the stream. I have to actually apologize for yesterday's stream. What's up, Shane? How's it going? Thanks for joining. I didn't realize, well, A, I was wearing a toque like an idiot, and B, I didn't realize that my head kept getting in the shot. So I've adjusted the cameras. Hey, Frosty Forge, man, how's it going? I've adjusted the cameras to fix that. So I've also added a palette cam. So now I can be even closer with my model painting right up close. And you guys are going to see the palette. Before, what I was trying to do is kind of do both. So hopefully that is... Brian, how's it going, man? Whoa. There we go. In the angle. So hopefully you guys can get a little bit of a better view as to what's going on. I'm still working on some of the tech, guys, so please bear with me. I've only been streaming for about 3.5, 4 weeks. So I'm still learning a lot, still working on a lot of tech issues, kinks, and all sorts of other stuff. So hopefully it is enjoyable. If you guys have any comments or criticisms, please be sure to leave them in the comments below, or just let me know in chat. I'm happy to hear everyone's critiques. And just a few housekeeping notes before we get into it. I mentioned I'm posting my stream schedule every Monday on Instagram. So if you guys, and also on Twitch. So if you guys check the stream schedule on Twitch, it's going to get updated every Monday for the week. This is actually a super busy week. I'm streaming 6 days this week. So hopefully that's 6 days of problem-free streaming. But obviously you never know with me. And second thing is I'm going to be, I had mentioned, Politics and Plastic. I said that it was 6 p.m. tomorrow. It's actually 7 p.m. Pacific, because the Falcon has kids and he has to like subdue them at the end of the day. So the exercise of Politics and Plastic is going to be at 7 o'clock Pacific. Please make sure to tune in for that. It's going to be an awesome episode. Hey, Dan, thanks for joining. Frosty, thanks for joining. Brian, everyone, thanks for joining, guys. Yeah, so what we're going to be doing today... oh yeah, and then Saturday is my game in the TTS event. Hey, Wyatt, man, how's it going? So we're gonna be doing speed painting this. I don't even know how to pronounce this. It's like Qulathis the Exile for Curse City. We have all the characters here. I'll show you guys later. So at the end of today's stream, we're gonna actually roll off to see which character we do on tomorrow's stream, because on Wednesday's stream. So just to reiterate, guys, tomorrow Politics and Plastic at 7 p.m. Pacific. Thursday, Best Overall Show. We have Daniel Smith, the co-leader and co-founder of Warhammer, a club out in Florida. They actually won Best Club last year. I'm really excited to talk to him. We're gonna have a really good chat. And then tomorrow we're talking with Peter the Falcon Colissimo about whether or not comp score should come back to competitive 40k. So that's going to be and AOS as well. So that's going to be a very exciting topic. And then obviously on the Best Overall Show this coming Thursday, we're going to have lots to talk about. Obviously Bellacore, lots of news and stuff. I'm not going to talk too much about it today because I want to really get into the speed painting. So with that said, here we go. So we're going to do Qulathis the Exile. I'm going to talk through you guys all the steps I do. 2 hours our timer goes. You'll see the timer appear. See, I also fixed the timer tech, so I'm getting very good at this. And you'll also be able to see my wet palette. So if you guys have any questions about the paints I'm using or the brushes or anything like that, please make sure to just ask in the chat. I'm going to do my best to answer as many questions as I can. So fingers crossed that this stream goes good, because so far they've all had a little bit of issues. Also, if you guys haven't, please make sure to subscribe to the channel on Twitch and on YouTube. I'm going to be streaming on Twitch, and then YouTube, I'm going to actually be uploading a lot of more curated content, like video content, in the future. Obviously, these streams are done on both Twitch and YouTube, so it doesn't matter what platform you watch it on. But YouTube is definitely a much bigger platform than Twitch, so I'm really trying to focus on getting the YouTube subs up to 1,000. That's kind of like the golden number. So if you guys are able to and you're enjoying it, please make sure to share the stream as well. It really does help me out when you guys share the stream or tell your friends about it or anything like that. So with that said, let's get into it. So what I have here is, I'm just going to call it Elf Chick from now on because I don't want to have to pronounce the name. So Elf Chick from Curse City. All I've done is a very simple Xenothel Highlight. So if you don't know what a Xenothel Highlight is, it's basically a two-color prime. I said highlight, I meant prime. Xenothel Prime. So I start by painting, spraying the whole thing in Chaos Black with spray. I actually don't use GW. Well, I use Games Workshop sprays, but lately I've been getting the Krylon Flat Black Primer, and it's like a third of the price. So I can get 3 bottles of that for the price of GW. It's a little thicker, and it takes a little bit longer to dry. But, I mean, it's really good value, and it's something I definitely recommend. I haven't had any issues with it. You just gotta be a little bit more careful with the spray. The GW spray definitely is like a nicer spray. It's feels like a lot like smoother, thinner. But I'm finding that the Krylon Flat Black, you can get it at like Canadian Tire or Home Depot, super cheap. You can get 3 bottles for the price of 1 GW. So it's really nice. And then after that, I've just gone kind of top down with a little spray of Skull White, actually Games Workshop Skull White, because I have a bottle that, like, I never prime anything white, so I have a bottle that I've had for like 6 years. So just a quick spray, and what that's gonna do is just like right out of the gate, it's gonna help set some of the kind of values. It's gonna help darken some of those shadows, and it's really gonna give us a nice top-down view. So with that said, I'm gonna get the timer started, and then we're gonna be off to the races. As soon as this timer starts, that's it. 2 hours start to finish. Okay. So here we go in 3, 2, 1. All right. There we go. Timer's up. 2 hours. Let's get going. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to start putting some paints out on my wet palette. And I did cheat a little bit because I pre-selected some paints. Obviously, that's a bit of a, cheat code, but not everyone, you don't have to do that. So I got here, this is some Fiberite Green. But for the last model, the Witch Hunter, I was very heavy on the, like brown, silvers, metallics. This model, I almost want to have 0 metallics. I want to do a very kind of natural wooden foresty look. So this here is Warboss Green, so it's like the old Goblin Green. So I want to do a lot of different shades of green and really see if I can kind of make this model kind of pop with just like a lot of different greens. Okay, I got some Caliban Green, which is like Dark Angels Green essentially. Yeah, and if you guys have any other suggestions for the stream, by the way, the top-down video quality will be better as of tomorrow. Right now, it's basically just like using the, this like app that comes with my camera. But I get a capture card coming tomorrow, so I'll be able to actually feed the direct HDMI feed into this video stream. So it'll be a full 1080p stream, whereas right now it's like closer to like 720. So hopefully the quality is good enough for you guys. This is a little Xandri Dust. Sorry, May Desert. I've never heard of. Okay, and then I got my old-fashioned Pro Acryls. I love the Pro Acryls, guys. It's my favorite paint line. So if anyone from Monument Hobbies watches this, please sponsor me or make me like an ambassador or something, because you guys' paints are awesome. And yeah, they're really good. Here we got some, so that's some light umber from Pro Acryl. Here we got some dark umber. And if you guys notice with these Pro Acryls, because they have the squeeze top, you always get this little splooge of paint. That's why you see me kind of wipe it on my thing so that I don't get this big paint splooge on the top of the bottle. This is a red grass. Some black. Always a little bit of black and white on your palette. This white, though, that they make from Pro Acryl is amazing as well. White. Okay. A little bit of yellow. Okay, what else I want in here? Maybe I'll go with a little ivory. So when I'm highlighting browns, like when I want to brighten up a brown shade or a yellow shade, there's usually kind of 2 directions you can go. You can add yellow, which is going to make it a lot more, I guess, well, it'll make it more yellow. It'll keep the saturation, but it'll change the tone quite a bit. Or you can add something like, this is actually one of my favorite greens. Well, I use a little bottle like this with water in it, and I just continuously add water. And I actually have quite a bit of water. I don't know if you can see this. I'll see if I can show you. See how much water's in mine? So a lot of people kind of underwater their wet palette, but there's like a pretty strong puddle of water around mine. like it's like a moat. So I keep it quite hydrated. And yeah, I just use a bottle like this and I just continuously add water as it starts to dry out. So it always has tons of water. Some people use like quite a, like very, I think like too little water. There's some jade from Paracral as well. And then, ooh, I like this color. I haven't really used this color much, so let's get some of that on the palette. And then these papers, I don't use their parchment papers. I buy my own, and then I cut them down. That's why it's a little bit uneven. I find that the ones that they come with, they're a little thick, and I find that they don't actually like the water doesn't really like go through them the same way as like the this one. Sorry, I should really put my paints away. I keep my paints really organized so I can always know which the colors are, but because I'm trying to do this in a rush, I have been just kind of throwing things everywhere. Paints away in their homes. Okay, and then as far as metallics, I want to go really light on the metallics here. And I was even thinking I might not even do metallics. I might just like have everything be kind of like a wood grain. But I don't think I will do that. I think I'll incorporate a little bit of metallics in here. And then I do want a bit of a highlight color. There's gonna be lots of greens and browns. So I'm thinking I want to bring in something that's like super kind of crazy and that's gonna really pop. So maybe I'll go with this Paracral purple. And that can be my highlight kind of like complementary color, maybe for any gemstones, that kind of stuff. Come on. There we go. All right. So let's get started. So I don't actually even know how I'm going to approach painting this model. So I'm just going to take a look. All right. So I think I'm going to start by doing basically a fairly thin base coat of kind of Dark Angels green. That's going to be kind of like my key color. So just thinning out a little water. And then I'm just going to go over the areas that I think I want green. So I think I want the pants green. Okay, maybe the like undercloth. Like the bodysuit, I guess. Is that what it would be called? Bodysuit green. So just making sure I'm using nice thin paints here. Also, I'm trying to make a habit to not use any, I'm not going to be using any washes. I know washes is something that people often rely on for, and I do too, most for whenever I'm painting, I almost always use washes, but I want to avoid using washes for this model specifically because I really want to push myself to not rely on washes as much, but also just because what is going on here with this model? What is that? Also because of the drying time, right? It's because I'm doing a speed paint. Washes are going to really slow me down. A leg? I can't even tell if that's a leg. Nope, just Eagle Eye Man. I wear contact lenses and I even paint with my glasses sometimes. So I don't have really good vision. Okay, let's get some house music going. Yeah, there we go. Boom. A little bit more exciting than that like lo-fi. So just pulling. This is the brush I'm using in Artist Opus size 1. I honestly, guys, I've done a lot of brush Kickstarters. I did Artist Opus. I did the ones from Emil. I have Windsor & Newtons. I have Bombwicks from Mighty Mode Hobbies. I have Rosemary & Co., GW, MIG. I really don't like the Artist Opus brushes. I know a lot of people did use this Kickstarter. I use them mostly for base coating now and that kind of stuff. I'm not a huge fan of them. So here I want to do the I guess the leaves here. I was thinking maybe doing like a kind of a brown color for the leaves. It's nice and natural. And again, one of the really helpful things for a model like this, and I find this is really helpful just in general for when I'm wanting to do things really fast, is don't be scared to kind of go in, like a lot of people like to base coat an area and then finish an area. For me, I like to actually base coat just about everything here. And what that does is it lets me be really quick on these first stages I don't have to be super messy, super neat, sorry, because I can just move my brush quick and I'm just going to kind of cover it up later. But also for these plastic models, I find that sometimes figuring out like where one surface starts and one surface ends can be challenging. So when you kind of go in and kind of do the base coat, it really it's almost, then after that, it just really becomes color by numbers. And it can be like really, really fast. So my favorite brushes are Rosemary & Co. And those are my workhorse brushes. I find they have the best kind of balance of point to quality to price. There's actually a set called the Warrior Workbench set you can get off their website. They're based in the EU, but shipping to North America is not too bad. But there's a set called the Warrior's Workbench set or something along those lines, and it's like 8 miniature brushes, and they're all mostly sable. Really nice, like Kolsinki sable, and the whole set is like $53, $60, like euros though. So it's like $70, but a Winsor & Newton brush normally is like somewhere around $20. So when you get like 8 brushes for around $70, it's actually a really good deal. So I'd highly recommend that. Okay, so for the boots, what is going on there? Missed a little spot. See, this is why it's helpful to kind of do that base coating, because now hopefully I don't miss any spots. Okay, then let's talk. Oh, get the back of it. Back there. Yeah, I definitely recommend Rosemary & Co. They're a really good brand. I'm also just gonna pull up, one thing I find really helpful is to just pull up a picture of the model. That way I can, and where would this be? Curse City box game. Orders and releases, right? And that way I can just take a look at the actual model. Hold out, but just let me. There we go. So I got a 360 of the model from Warhammer Community on my screen, and that's going to just help me kind of figure out as well a little bit of the material. Like I couldn't tell if certain things were arms or skin, and having that model guide is actually really helpful. So now I actually see. Yeah, okay. Here. Up. Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna do mine very different than the workshop one, but that's okay. I do want to do the boots in brown. What's that, Rosemary Co? Also, guys, if like my head or anything is in the camera frame, please just tell me. Because when I look up, obviously my head's not in the frame. So I was looking at yesterday's stream, and like my stupid toque was in like the frame like most of the time, and no one said anything. And because every time I looked up to see how the picture was, obviously my head moved, so I don't actually see my own head in the frame, right? Funny, but hopefully that's resolved. I think what I want to do for the arrow is kind of like, I want to do like maybe a blue arrow, almost like an ice arrow. I don't know if that's like a thing in this game, but I always like the idea of like ice arrows in like D&D and stuff. I don't know if you guys ever played like Baldur's Gate, but you used to be able to get like ice arrows. So maybe I'm gonna do the tip of this. I'm gonna do the tip of this arrow like ice, like really like ice blue, so it kind of looks like it's a glowing blue ice arrow. But I want to do it so it's like actually ice, not just kind of fake ice. Fake ice. I don't know what fake ice is, but all right. What do I want to do here? I'm getting a little black. I want to do the gloves quite dark. Have a little blue. Okay, And I don't really know what I'm doing with this, guys, as far as like scheme. I haven't really thought about it, but that's okay. We'll kind of figure it out as we go. If you have any suggestions, let me know. Just like yesterday, I probably won't listen to you because once I kind of get a scheme in my head, it's pretty hard to like get me off it, but maybe I'll take it into if it's a good idea. But I want to make sure you guys feel like you're involved. That sucks. Well, if you need me, if you really want some, I can let me know. I'll get you a set from Canada. Okay, so that's the gloves. Oh, I didn't put a flesh color. I want to go really, really pale with this girl's flesh. You know, she's in the forest. There's lots of trees. She doesn't get a lot of sunlight, I bet. So let's go a little bit of. This is literally called pale pink. Rock roll. What? Oh, she's got a shaved head. She's kind of emo. You know how like punk girls have like undercuts where it's like half their head shaved? That's what she's got here. And I said I'm not using any washes. Like I'm not gonna use any Games Workshop washes, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna wash things. I'm just not gonna use any like Games Workshop washes. So if I do any sort of wash, it's gonna be like a very thin kind of diluted paint glaze versus like a more traditional wash, which is probably what most people think. That makes sense. So again, this is very rough, guys. You can see like I'm kind of just going really quick to get the base coats in. And then I'll come back later and I will fix all this. But I don't want to be too fussy right now. I just want to kind of start to understand how this model is going to come together, how it's going to start to look. Where I'm going to put the color. Don't stress at this stage that it's like looking a little bit rough. Oh, it's all part of the plan, you see? Oh, you guys don't have sable. What do you mean? But that. Oh, on the specific sable hair. I was like, I'm pretty sure you can get sable hair brushes in where you are. Okay. Grab a little bit purple. One key to making your purples really rich is actually adding a bit more blue to them. So I'm going to add a little bit of crag blue. Crag blue so dark. Hey, River City Gaming, thanks for the follow, man. Oh, this is the color I want. Yeah, I just picked up some oil washes. Wow, is this a brand new paint I've never used? Look at that, never even used it. Goes to show how many that I have too many paints. I'm just transitioning to a slightly smaller brush now that some of the larger areas are done. We're gonna go purple trim. Why not? Fur. I love the new Croc, man. It's so cool. There's like there's so many jokes going on today about like memes and stuff on the new Croak. It's hilarious. I'm more excited for the Bellacore though. I might actually get 2 of them. And do them on. I want to do one like, I think, no wings and like Diablo style. Put him on like a smaller base to use him like as an on-foot demon prince. And kind of paint him all like red, like Diablo. What do you think of that? Should I do that? God, 20 minutes gone already? Damn it, I feel behind. Hour and 40 minutes, guys. Okay, so I'm just base coating all the cloth with a dark purple from Proacryl. Being a little bit more careful here as I go along. You can see there's like a bunch of under stuff on the cape, or on the I guess like skirt, but I'm not going to paint that. Now, even though this is quite a dark purple, I'm going to take it super bright by the time I get it to the last highlight. But because I start with a very dark purple, it's going to have a lot of contrast and pop. And I'm not really doing washes here, so that dark purple is really going to help kind of make the I guess crevices look really good. What do you guys think of the new Karak? Did you guys all see it? I just am happy that like Lizardmen are getting models, because they never had a lot of models. They haven't gotten I don't think they've gotten an AOS release ever. Like they, or like besides the skinks, like the warband for the warband for Warcry or whatever. I don't think they've actually gotten an AOS release like besides the books, you know? Or have they? Does anyone know that if they have or haven't? And that actually plays AOS. Okay. Alright, next I'm gonna do the base coat of that. Probably gonna do a little bit of the what do I want to do next? I think like some of the metal I'm gonna just do black. Yeah, I don't say it's too much, but definitely feels like it's kind of funny. It's like, it's not like a lot of the other models, they like soup them up. Like obviously like Bellacore, they made him like 30% bigger or whatever. And I'm sure this new Karak is actually slightly bigger, but like Marathi and like all these like big character pieces that came out, they like able to actually increase their size. And like you can't really do that with Karak, right? It's not like he's getting like Primarist. So we'll see. I'm curious if it's going to come with another release, but kind of hard to tell. Yeah, I think the coolest part is I'm hoping that means like All right, let me start that again. It seems like they're pumping out the Broken Realms books pretty quick. So I think they're kind of quite behind on their maybe release schedule with because I think they're trying to push to make sure AOS 3 comes out this summer. You know, Broken Realms is very reminiscent of the end times. So I'd assume that like Dingo, thanks man. Hey man, how's it going? Xerath, welcome to the chat, guys. I assume basically they're just trying to push this stuff out so that they can get AOS 3 out in time for the summer, because I don't think they want to push that, right? So that's kind of why I think they're kind of going so ham with this release schedule. What do you guys think? Do you think they're going too fast? So I'm just I've got most of the base coating done. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to go base coat all the areas that either I'm not sure what I want them, or maybe metal. I'm just going to base coat them black. And that way that'll help kind of define them, and also it'll give me just like a good starting point later when I come back to them. Let's, this thing middle is gonna be metallic, kind of like his giant belt buckle. I'm not putting my metallics out of my wet palette because I just find that they do kind of break down quite a bit on the wet palette. And I don't want them, and that's probably one of the last things I'm gonna do, so I don't want them sitting there for like an hour just getting like super gnarly. When they start to absorb water from the wet palette, they definitely I guess the consistency changes quite quick. Yeah, they need to pick up the release schedule for 9th edition too. You know they will though, right? On the bright side though, like it's not like they're putting out new books, right? So we'll see what happens. I don't think there's gonna be major changes to the AOS system. I just hope they get rid of the fucking double turn. I don't know why people like it. All the AOS players I talk to think it's like the greatest thing ever, and I'm like, no, it's so dumb. If you got rid of it, I'd probably play AOS. Alright, they don't call it double turn, they call it the priority roll. Frosty Forge, my favorite metallics are scale 75. I've heard really good things about the Vallejo metal color line, but I haven't been able to get my hands on any because they've been sold out for a little while. But yeah, scale 75 metallics are my favorite. They have a great color range, and they're also just really smooth. So definitely my favorite brand. All right, so I'm gonna go. I'll do the arrows here as well. Grabbing a little black arrows. I'm just painting the bottom half of the arrow tips in black because I want the tops to kind of be a little bit brighter. So you'll see that I'm kind of leaving kind of the top half here in white. That'll just help me later when I'm doing my other stuff. So, and then last thing, I'm just gonna paint the horns here and hair, light color, brown. I don't want yellow in here, but I want a yellowish tone for the hair. Going very thin there. Come on, babe, you know? Oh shit, that's not water. Yeah, I can't find Vallejo. I can't find the metal color line because apparently they ran out of one of the materials that actually go into the paint. So like they've been discontinued for a while. They're like reformulating it or something, or there's like a shortage or something. Yeah, scale 75 paints are amazing. I highly recommend, and you can get the sets, like the full sets, with like a bunch of different of the similar type. So the gold set is really nice, the silver and the copper set. Like you get those 3 sets, and like you're basically set for life for metallics. All right, that's most of my base coating done. I left some of the metallics. I'll come back to that. I think I'm gonna do the horns in metallic as well. I'm gonna do a very, very bright gold, I think, for the I think I'm gonna do a very bright gold for the yeah, I agree, Xrath, 100%. I love the Scale 75 stuff. It's like my favorite brand. So I'm gonna start with the skin just because it's kind of like deeper inside, and I want to make sure once I do it, I can kind of like, let's do another little quick highlight, base coat of the flesh color just because it is quite thin. Hour and a half. The model I'm most worried about is the ogre, I think, because it's so much surface area. But it's fairly metallic-y, so it might be a little bit easier. I'm just base coating the skin again with another quick layer of the pale pink. And then I'm gonna make like a little bit of a glaze of basically I'm gonna take my pale pink, and with skin shading, I always like to add a little bit of a weird tone to it, so it doesn't just feel like darker color of your skin, but there's actually like different like tones. So for this one, I think I'm gonna add a little bit of like green into it, just so her skin has like a bit of a green glow. I'm gonna grab a little bit of my jade here, a little water, a little pink. I'm gonna get this nice and thin. So I'm actually gonna use a little bit of Lamian medium for this rather than just water. I find the Lamian medium helps just hold the pigment together, especially when you're working with like super thin paints. So a little Lamian medium, a little bit of the you can see how thin it is here. Quite thin. I could probably go even a little thinner. Okay, so it's very, very thin, right? Okay, and I'm actually gonna come back to the skin in a sec just because I'm just realizing it's still a little bit wet from the last layer, but because we're speed painting, that means instead of waiting, I just move on to something else and then I come back. And thankfully, because the wet palette means that my wash that I made is still gonna be useful. So I'm gonna take a little black. I wanna give the armor, all the wood areas, this kind of dark green tinge. So a little bit of the camo green, a little bit of this, a little bit of water, quite thin. Put that in. What are you guys working on if you're painting? Know what you guys are working on. You guys excited about any models? Okay, so I'm just glazing in this like kind of very dark greenish brown color. Okay, good. A little bit of it here. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in with a little bit of this mahogany, a little bit of black, a little bit of lemon, a little bit of that jade in there. Why not? Always kind of just having fun, guys. Just experimenting on the palette, right? Nothing has to be done. Not to follow any sort of direction. I'm doing just one model at a time. So having like a little bit of like a wild colors, you're totally good with that. Like you don't need to create like perfect colors, right? It's just kind of doing whatever I want on the palette. Like this color I just kind of invented, kind of like a blue-green wash, but okay, boots. I'm gonna take this opportunity while I got a little bit of time to do the base while it's drying. So always being super productive. And yesterday I just used a little bit of Typhus Corrosion from Games Workshop. So I'm gonna do a few coats of this over the course of the session, so that the base has a nice little brown base. So I'm using a different brush, by the way. I'm not using one of my brushes. Like, this is just like an old gnarly brush. Because Typhus Corrosion literally has like bits of like stuff in it, I guess, like little bits of like sand, or I'm not sure exactly what's in it. So okay, Typhus Corrosion. So I'm just gonna let that dry. I'll move on to other things. Okay, so now let's grab my fine detail brush, which I don't have, but there it is. And I'm gonna go in with that really, really wet, really, really thin glaze, and I'm gonna glaze down all the skin here. What are you on hold for, man? See, the skin's kind of getting this like blue glow, like that. I'm just doing a very thin kind of coat, painting this into those crevasses. I'm gonna have to go too heavy. Oh, I can't wait for Bellicor, man. Oh, I did my taxes like right when I could, so I've been done for like 2 months. Because I knew I was getting a big rebate and I wanted my money right away, so I did them right away. Okay, so skin's been glazed. She's got like a nice kind of blue glow to her. Totally fine. Totally normal, guys. It's that elven youth. And this is just like, see, normally you wouldn't think, okay, I'm gonna shade pink skin with blue, right? Like, that's not something like maybe normally you would do, but this is kind of the fun part of bead painting and doing this kind of, you know, loosey-goosey technique, I guess, is like I can just do whatever I want. I don't know if you care about anything. Alright, so that's done. Next, I'm gonna basically go and pick out, I gotta look at the model because it's like, thing. I gotta figure out what color I'm gonna paint that. Maybe I'll do that kind of this jade green. Kind of like the under color of this. Or water in there. The only base good in contrast. I don't know where you live, Xerath, but our local store had extra copies, so I don't know if it's kind of weird. Like, it seems like some places people just love this shit, and some people. gonna do a little bit of, I'm not fussing too much about the under color, but I will just do a little bit. Add just a little black to it too, so it's like, so it looks like I painted it, but that's kind of just a dark version of it. Jamming my brush under there. Slow. Mass holes? What's a mass hole? Mass holes, you mean? Or Massachusetts people. Ah, I see. I get it. You're from Massachusetts, so you're called mass holes. Aha! See? I'm smart. Alright, so now I'm gonna head back into the skin. Grab a little bit of my pink. My first color is, I'm gonna add a little bit of that blue, just as like a thinner, into this blue. And now I gotta be, this is like the super careful step. So, because I don't want to, now I gotta start being kind of very thoughtful about where I put my colors. I just painted her as if she had 6 fingers. What's that character from Princess Bride that has 6 fingers? The sheriff or whatever? Princess Bride's a great movie. Excuse me. Why do you think they removed it? Let people have what they want, you know? Series? Yeah, the man with 6 fingers. This elf has like 6 fingers. Doing the skin right now, that's why I'm not talking, guys, because I gotta be really, this is like the most delicate part, so I'm like basically holding my breath when I do this part, because I gotta be really bold with my brush. Such a small area. That's why I'm not talking. Almost done. What do you guys think of the fact that they're posting like lead designer roles for all their games? Do you think that, what do you think that means? Like, do you think that, because like it's not like they didn't have lead designers. Did they fire everyone? Are they just creating roles that didn't exist, which would seem crazy to me? You know, like what happened to those people that were in those roles? Okay, so that's done. So now I'm gonna add a little bit more white and go and give it one more highlight. Yeah, like you'd think, I would get it if like they posted one job, right? Like if they just posted like one of those roles, I'd be like, oh, like maybe they're trying to promote that person or whatever. But the fact that they posted 4 different like dev roles, it's like, well, what happened to all those? Like, was it one person that they, like was one person in that? Yeah, no, but it's like lead designer. So who's the current lead designer? Right? Is that different than like the rules writer? And like, do you guys actually think that like people outside of GW actually have a chance to get these jobs? Like, who could kind of come in as a third party and step in to say like rules writing 40k and not at like actually understand the game, right? Like you need someone that plays the game and like, I don't know, knows it at a very deep level, but also can write rules and like understands, you know what I'm saying? And like I don't think they'd give someone that's third party like a role like that. Like maybe they can be like a junior rules, like a junior designer or something like that. I just don't see them like being like, oh yeah, here's like our flagship game, so like go do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? I'd be very surprised if it was like that. Sometimes when I do skin, also, yeah, maybe it's just a hamster and they just roll a dice. Okay, I'm gonna go in now with a little bit of black, and I'm just gonna kind of redefine, and basically I want to kind of black line in and around where all the skin is, meeting all the different surfaces. That's gonna help give it a little bit of contrast. So again, guys, I'm sorry that I'm quiet here. This is like the most critical step of this part, is just making sure I don't get paint everywhere, and it's hard to talk and paint at the same time sometimes, especially if you're doing very, very fine detail work. So just bear with me. And always really important, this black lining is actually so important to like helping the model look. It's gonna basically give it a nice little, it's gonna help define the edges and create contrast and really sharpen the shapes of like the eyes. So this is, I'm basically just painting like a very thin down black paint in between like the armor panels and the skin, because the skin was quite bright. So I want that nice dark line that's gonna help separate like where one of those starts and one of those ends, you know? That makes sense? Almost done though. Okay. I mean, like, I feel I could, like, I'm not being, like, cocky, but, like, I feel like I could do that. Like, it's not, you know? It's not like they're creating a game from scratch, right? So it'd be one thing if they had to create the game from scratch and come up with a whole new brand new game. That's one thing, right? But if you look at 40k, the state it's in a pretty good place. So, like, I don't think this, like, rules designer needs to do anything but like improve and clean up, and I think that's actually probably a very manageable job, you know? I'm just going with that black, guys, and just trying to separate out these areas nicely. There's a nice distinction between where the skin starts and where like the other surfaces start as well. This is really going to help. I know it's probably the most time consuming part because I only got an hour left, hour and a bit, but this is a really important stage to help really make sure the model looks super good. It's that differentiation of the various parts. Sorry. I think there's a lot missing. All right. Almost there, guys. The weird parts. I gotta turn them on like in weird places. And key here is just nice and thin paint. That way it'll kind of flow those gaps really easily without too much effort. For black. And you get a little bit. We're not supposed to. Just take a wet brush and kind of get it out. Probably gonna be the part that takes on the head. Nice thing about the wet palette too is if I do make mistakes later on, I have my color still here. So it's very easy for me to go and kind of just grab a little bit and fix something. Whereas like I don't have to like remix paints and stuff. Alright, so I think that's good. Okay, so there's the face. Fine, I hope you guys can see that okay. Sure. Running time, but okay. Now I'm gonna get like the tiniest brush that I have, which is this little guy, and try to do the eyes. And I've left a little bit of the blue from the glow, and so it should look like the eyes are glowing blue. Really close to this. Okay, and then a little bit of white. So finicky, guys. The eyes. All right, there we go. Done. Can't really see them. I can see the eyes. Eyes. Yeah, these ones are artist opus. Some of them are good, but not all of them. All right, now we gotta move into gear. So I'm gonna work on. Let's see. Let's start doing pick an area and start just kind of going at it here. Let's do all the dark green. This. Put that. Doing the dark green areas. We're just being mindful of like what's actually in light, what's not. And then I'm gonna start putting a little bit of yellow in this. blending a bit. Dippling a little bit, just give it a little bit of texture, right? Because I don't want it to just all be smooth. Weird texture on the, where's my exact knife? Like glue or something. A weird texture there. Maybe it's glue or something. I don't know what it was. Yeah, the artist opus ones are not good. I didn't like them. I feel like I'm behind a little bit, to be honest. Hopefully the slow parts are done. Skin's done, which is good. That was like one of the harder parts. And the slower parts. I gotta be a lot more careful there. I'm just starting to kind of get in the groove now. Hard to tell sometimes on these models, like where. Oh, that's what that is. Okay, I see. It's like I'm trying to see like what little what's Frosty Forge said. Well, I didn't oh, the blue glaze. Hey guys, don't yell at me. I'll answer. So basically I wanted to add a little bit of like, I guess, etherealness to the skin. And it's an elf, and she's like quite, I guess, like, I don't know. Like, I wanted her to kind of feel magical. So instead of doing like maybe like a glaze with like brown or like a skin tone, I wanted to give her skin a bit of kind of like a magical effervescent feel. That's why I ended up going with like the blue, because it gives like a little bit of a blue kind of like, it's almost like she's kind of glowing, you know what I'm saying? So that was my kind of thought process. And you can do other colors, like I could just easily use like purple or like a very light purple glaze, or maybe like a I don't know, like even like red or green. Keep adding a little bit of yellow to my here. Up the highlights. That makes sense. I know. Thanks. I'm just joking, by the way. Or not yellow. So that's kind of why. It just adds a little bit of interest and color to the model that maybe otherwise it wouldn't have had. Okay, there's that green, adding more yellow. Just slowly adding yellow to this green, because I want this green color to be almost like the most like saturated green on the legs here. Thanks, man. Okay, so that I'm gonna do one last highlight on that green, and then I'm gonna be done that. And this one I'm just gonna do a very, very light, super watered down, kind of like yellow. Very little paint on my brush, and I'm just gonna kind of pull that to the very tips. Very high spots. The mask. See, she's wearing a mask before it's cool, guys. Mask up, right? Just like you did. Okay, so that's all the kind of those main green areas. A little bit of this brighter color. All right, boom. Okay, so next I'm gonna do the. I think I want to do the purple. Like a good time to kind of get in there. Do the purple. So just see if there's anywhere I missed on the base coat. There. Actually, there's a little strap. Can't see it probably on camera, but there's like a little strap back there. So I'm gonna do that just kind of a dark green, a little bit of black. It's kind of like the strap for her quiver and sword. It's like really hard to see. Gotta be so careful. Okay, and then I'm just gonna add a little bit of the bone color just to highlight it. I'm just gonna do a very small, quick highlight on that, not like too bright because it's such a small area. And I'm definitely going to post some high-res pictures of these models, guys, on my Instagram like I did last night after the stream. Alright, so that's done. A little bit more. Remember, the smaller the area, the more kind of extreme the highlight, because you're not going to get any natural shadow in there. So when you're doing really small areas, you really want to go quite stark on the highlight, so it kind of pops right out. There we go, boom. All right. Okay, so next we're gonna do the purple. So I've base coated all the purple. I'm just gonna go straight into my purple here. I'm not gonna do a transition. And bring that down, because remember I said I wanted quite a bright purple. I don't want to have, and I don't want to do a ton of blends here. Again, that's gonna be time consuming because I'm basically painting each hair. But just remember what is actually needs to be highlighted, right? So the stuff underneath doesn't need to be highlighted. Always remember kind of like your golden angle, like how you're gonna actually look at the model, where your light's coming from, because you'll find that sometimes you can get away with not actually highlighting a whole lot. All right, 56 minutes, guys. Whoa, we're running out of time quick. Better pick it up here. But yeah, so I'm just going in, just painting the tops, just using the edge of the brush here to kind of grab onto the cloth where it's bright, and anywhere it's kind of underneath here, I'm not even going to bother highlighting it. Really, not necessary because it's kind of dark, right? We did make a rule though last night that the painting time includes the base but not the rim. The rim's kind of extra. Because sometimes, yeah, you have to. So that's the goal. 2 hours, not including the rim. What's a meme list? Never heard of that term, meme list. And to be honest, I hate losing regardless of who or how. I don't like losing in general. But I always like, it's for me it's the player, not the it's the pilot, not the plane. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd prefer to lose to if a player is good and he's like skilled, then I don't mind losing to him. You build your basing to that golden angle, like most interesting angle? Not really. I'm pretty like loose with the basing. For this one, I want to do a ton of grass. I want to have it like almost fully in grass, like she's in like the fields. So I'm gonna do pretty heavy static grass on this one. Definitely, this model is definitely, I thought it'd be fairly quick, but it's definitely, I feel definitely behind here. So lots of little surfaces and textures. And I'm trying not to take any shortcuts, right? Like, I'm not trying to use washes, I'm not trying to dry brush. I don't want to just like contrast, like I could just, if I wanted, I could just like contrast paint this and done, right? But I'm trying to actually paint this like I would paint a normal model. All the same techniques, maybe like a few less highlights than normal. But I want all the techniques to feel like this is how I would paint the normal model, but maybe just like a few more layers versus, oh, I'm just doing like a quick speed job, right? Okay, so now I'm gonna grab a little bit of my purple, add some white. Again, I want to go quite bright with this. I want the jump to be quite distinct. And I'm going thinner here so that as I use this paint, it kind of blends in. So the translucency of the paint is going to be my helper here, because instead of having to do a lot of blends, I'm going to let the paint be a little transparent. That's going to help me a little bit as far as like the highlighting is concerned. Okay, almost there. Remember, we're going to be looking at this model from a little bit up, so it's okay if your highlights are a little bit choppy. Make sure your paint's nice and smooth and just pull away. And it should do most of the work for you. Basing, no, I don't build. No, man, lurk as much as you want. Lurk. Talk, don't talk. Okay, I'm almost there on the purple. So next, as I'm like doing this, I'm kind of doing this mindlessly, and I'm just thinking about what my next color is going to be. I think I'm going to do the browns here. Kind of go from like largest to smallest, I guess, of the remaining parts. like it would make the most sense. Okay, there's my purple. Oh shit, I forgot a whole shoulder pad. Oops, that's not my purple. Okay, almost there on the purple. Right. And you can see here, like under here, I didn't paint the purple. I didn't highlight it because it's like, it's supposed to be kind of the darkness, right? All right, so next I'm gonna do, I think the brown, the like outer brown stuff. So what I'm gonna do for that is I'm gonna grab a little bit of light umber, grab some orange because I wanted a little bit more orange. Grab some of my original color. Grab some here. Is that too thin? Probably. A little bit more there, a little bit more there. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in. Boom. Oh, my neck just cracked. Getting a lot last week, so my neck's in pain. Okay, that's the little front piece. Okay, next I'm gonna do, this is gonna be a little bit time consuming, but it's gonna be basically the straps here. Like this weird pattern. But who cares, I can just make my own pattern here. I don't have to follow it, fits the pattern exactly. So there's like not a ton of detail here, so I'm just gonna kind of spitball it and add my own pattern. Like that, right? It's like leather. Kind of like a hatch leather, cross-hatch leather. Hard to tell when like one little panel starts and one begins, so for some areas I'm just, if I can't tell, I'm just kind of making it up. Okay, no one's gonna get mad. I'll know though. Thanks for the compliment, man. If you're enjoying the content. I know it's kind of like not that exciting. It's not that exciting as my shows, but it's like fun for me. Get to chat with you guys, get to hang out. Gives me a cool little project, motivation to be motivated on. All right, this one's a lot easier. Okay. Where else do they have that pattern? In the back there. Okay. Right, next I'm gonna do one more highlight. I'm gonna grab a little yellow here because I want to brighten up the little yellow. A little bone. This is, again, I don't have a recipe for this, guys. I'm just kind of, what do I like, right? It's like very, very Bob Ross. It's like, a little bit of green, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know, what do I like? What's interesting to me? What makes me happy? I'm gonna make those colors. I'm just gonna go. I'm not gonna think too hard. Just make happy colors, you know? Okay, so there's the front. I'm gonna do this leather. Another level here. I'm highlighting the highlights. Bit more pop. Back. Especially towards the bottom. Yeah, man. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe. Twitch, YouTube. Love you. All right, next I'm gonna, as I'm doing this, I'm just thinking what I'm gonna do next. All right, that is the quiver basically done, and that brown leather spot. I think I'm gonna do this little green sash because that's exciting for me, and it's sometimes, like, even if it's not the best thing to paint, I like to just do it because it's gonna make the model, like, maybe there's like a little section of the model where like, that's why I like to do the face, because it really helps to like center the model for me. And it's like, it's fun, right? So like sometimes, even if it's maybe not the next logical step, I will paint something like the face or like this little green sash because I want to see it with that color kind of on there and complete, because I think it's gonna kind of make the model feel more complete overall, right? But don't be scared to kind of go out of order if it's something fun. It's like a fun part of the model that you want to work on, or that you think that like by finishing that specific part, it's gonna look better. Going back over with my original base color of green because it was quite, I guess, diluted. And I'm gonna also, now just noticing that there's like this belt here. And go around the belt. That in. Sash. Sachet. Okay. And again, I'm not worried too much about what's kind of back there because you're not going to see it, so don't stress yourself out. All right, next. Grab my green. And with every one of these greens, whenever I'm highlighting them, I'm always picking a different color to highlight with. So I don't want to add all white to all of them because then you end up with like everything kind of the same tone. So some I might add white, some I might add yellow, some I add like bone, some I might add something totally crazy that I haven't even thought about, you know? So just do what's kind of fun, I guess, and you think is going to look good and like make the model look cool. So in this case, I'm adding just some white because I think I do want this one in white, but I don't want it to have the same yellow tone as the pants, right? I want it to have like a very distinct kind of color. Okay, a little bit more highlighting, going the edges now. Little splash there, down. Rim. Even something like the base, sometimes I might do ahead of time and out of order if I feel like it's like exciting and it's gonna keep me motivated to paint them. But don't be scared to do things out of order if it means it's more fun for you. Okay, there we go. Maybe just go a little bit brighter on the one. Just spot highlight here. Bottom, a bit more white. Making sure I'm like respecting the previous highlights so that it doesn't feel like light's coming from multiple places. So if it's brightest here on that part, then make sure that that like light, path of light kind of follows through. All right, so next I'm gonna do, let's do the boots. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of my dark green. I'm gonna add a little bit of this brown bleach. More brown because I went bright. Get it nice and thin. There. Color. All doing in chat. Hope you guys are having time. Let me know how you guys are painting progress going. Are you guys getting a lot done? Okay, boots, boots, boots. Now we're starting to pick it up, you know? Okay, a little bit more white into that boot. Edges of the toes, just gonna top here. I'm gonna get it nice and thin, kind of glaze that in. I want a nice smooth transition. Right, and then what I'm going to do here, I'm finding like they're a little bit light, but I'm going to take a little bit of my dark brown and I'm just going to glaze that back into my shadows a little bit. Just a little more definition around kind of the areas that I want a little dark. That's going to kind of a little bit of definition, especially where maybe it's closer edges here. Up here along where it kind of maybe reaches the maybe the little divider between the sole and the boot. There's like a little line there. Painting that in. Giving just trying to add a little bit of contrast there, just so that the toes kind of stick out a little bit more. All right, so there's our boots. Okay, so next we're gonna move on to, let's do the van braces. So I want to have those kind of stay a little bit separate as well. So I think I actually want to do those in kind of like a dark. Maybe almost in black, but like with like a little bit of a blue tinge. No, you know what? I'm gonna keep them nice and bright. So let's go in with our bone color here. A little bit of this. And And because this is kind of like leather, I'm kind of doing a little bit of a, after this initial base coat, I'm going to kind of go in and kind of give it a little bit of a rough highlight. So I'm not going to be super smooth or thin. I want a little bit of texture in my paint, a little bit of thickness. That's going to help give the leather like a little bit of texture, I guess. Always want to try to find opportunities to add texture and color to your model. Okay, grab a little bit of my bone color here, orange. I'm gonna kind of a little bit. So I'm just kind of doing these kind of like striations, like I'm just kind of pulling my brush. This, letting it being quite kind of rough. Go the other way. I want to add a little bit of interest to this model. I don't want it to be all just smooth textures, right? Feel like worn leather. All right, 37 minutes. Not panicking yet, but definitely feel like it's gonna be tight, this one. Lots to do. Going in, just doing that same kind of cross hatch. I'm just kind of pulling my brush. This is gonna help like give it a little bit of texture, right? I'm not just doing like a smooth thing. And plus, because I'm doing this kind of like leathery pattern, I can be a lot more rough with it. Like I don't have to be super exact because I gotta get some new paper towel. My paper towel's wet. So I go. How you guys all doing in chat? Hope everyone's having a good night so far. Alright, what's there? Where was I? Kind of glazing a little bit of this bone. Kind of stippling it almost. Doing a little texture. My phone's been going off all night, but oh, that's cool. Are you what do you use to edit? I'm trying to teach myself Premiere right now, and it's not going well. I'm gonna edit some videos as well. Alright, so there's our vambraces. I'm just gonna hit the edges here with a little bit of the blonde. I'm gonna pick out there. Is that easy to use, or is that more difficult? I know Premiere is like super hard. And now, you know what? I'm not loving the way that this vambrace is going. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a little glaze of wildwood, the contrast paint, and I'm just gonna add to it a little bit of Lamian medium. So to use contrast medium, screw GW, I can do whatever I want. I can do what I want. And I'm just gonna glaze the whole thing down. Just hopefully tie it together. Wooden, add even texture as well from contrast, because I'm kind of doing kind of like a blotchy job. Okay, that's that, I think, for the most part. There is a little bit of gaps here, so I'm gonna paint those black in a sec, but I think what I'm gonna do next is paint all my arrow shafts. I'll just do this black with a little bit of a highlight. Black wood. Oh. I have wood on this model. Magical bolt, anyway. Magic arrows always have black shafts. Okay. 32 minutes. I'm gonna add a little bit while I'm waiting. I'm gonna a little bit of typhus corrosion back on the base for later. The base. Okay, alright. Version away. Alright guys, a little bit of brain drain. Alright, what do I want to do? Let's do the metallics. No, I want to do those last. Let's do the hair. I think that's gonna be a big piece to get out of the way. But for the hair, it's already this kind of blonde color. What I want to do is I want to grab basically the blonde. I'm gonna kind of do like a wet brush. Kind of pull, getting some bone color and kind of just pulling it across. Quite a bit of paint on my brush. I'm not doing, not super dry. Wet brush. Kind of pulling it across. So dry brush, you're kind of doing back and forth, but this is more of like a wet brush where it's quite wet, the paint, but it's gonna end up like a much smoother finish as well. I'm just kind of pulling it across. It is like a dry brush, but the paint's a lot wetter, I guess is the best way to describe it. And that way it's like, you're still getting that same effect of a dry brush, but it's not going to leave that like kind of chalky, powdery look. And it's a little bit more controlled. Doesn't matter that I'm doing a technique like this. It's not for that. It feels like the end result is good. I feel like if I do a dry brush, it'll be very obvious that I dry brushed it. Whereas with the wet brush, it's a little bit more subtle and smooth. But you still get kind of like the benefits of the dry brush, which is fairly quick. The opposite of dry brushing. Yeah. Just pulling. It's like it's my wet, like my paint is wet enough that I could like paint with it. Pulling across. And it's leaving. It's still. It's like applying it like a dry brush, but you're not doing that technique. It's a lot smoother. I guess that's how to describe it. You gotta be careful though. You still gotta like, you gotta make sure the angles, because it's not, your brush isn't dry. You gotta make sure like the angles that you pull your paint are kind of like perpendicular to the angles of the texture. So like on the edges where it's like this way, I pull it across that way. Like the head, it's this way, so I'm gonna pull it across this way. And kind of do kind of a random craziness like you do with a dry brush. All right, and then what I want to do just to kind of help find it and kind of smooth it out a bit, I'm going to grab a little bit of my blonde, just a touch of my like intermediate color, and then I'm going to go very, very thin with this. So grab a little bit of Lemon Medium. And this is going to be kind of like a super, super subtle wash in kind of glaze over the whole thing. We can see how thin this is, and that's going to help kind of bring it all together and make it feel like the two colors like help kind of marry them together. And the reason I want to go thin is because I want to make sure that I don't darken my kind of highlight color, I guess, too much, but I also don't want to like have a ton of it pool, I guess. Oh. A very thin glaze. It's not really like, I'm not letting a ton like kind of settle into the cracks, or just like a glaze, and that's just going to help resaturate the color. And also just like smooth out some of the texture, if there is any texture from the Great. There's our hair. Let that dry. 27 minutes, guys. Okay, next I'm gonna do the bow, or actually I'm gonna do the little textures of the cloth here. Get a little gray, and while I'm at it, I'm gonna make enough to do there's little tiny like straps along the vambrace here, so I'm just gonna make those a little gray. Oh. Okay, and then I'm gonna grab a little bit of that gray. Running out of palette space, guys. And I'm gonna paint the base while I'm here. It's kind of a stone color. Brush for that. Mix in a little black. I'm worried about if I get it everywhere, because I'm gonna mostly paint this and cover this in static grass. Okay, so base, let it dry, move on to the next thing. Okay, so next I think I'm gonna do the bow haft, the shaft. Haft, what it's called. Shaft of the bow. And for this I do want to crank up the yellow a bit, so I'm gonna go back in with my dark color. I'm gonna rebase coat it here. Go in with some I think I'm gonna also do this section of the little back thing, probably in gray as well. Okay, gray. I'll do the feathers gray as well. Airborne. Thanks, Frosty, man. No worries, bud. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be doing Politics and Plastics tomorrow at 7 o'clock, so hopefully tune in for that at least. Great episode. Okay, arrows, arrows, arrows. This is where kind of closer to the end of the model, where as I run low on time, your like luxuries of having everything different colors starts to fade. So it's like, okay, the remaining items are going to be gray. Doing a very thinned out gray wash. Okay, that's all the feathers. That's all this area. Okay, now I'm gonna get back to that shaft. So I'm gonna get a little bit of yellow, and I'm gonna get a little brown, and I'm basically just gonna pull down some lines because I want to kind of add like a little bit of grain almost. So I'm gonna pull just straight down with my yellow. Not be super careful here. And why I like to use different colors for highlights, again, you know, I'm using a lot of earth tones, natural tones, but by using like yellow this time instead of white or lighter brown, it just helps differentiate the various materials, right? Like it helps make sure that everything feels like it's not just all the same brown, same material, same whatever. Okay, a little bit more yellow. And a little bit more extreme. And I don't mind if I get like little streaks in there because it is supposed to be like a wood in some sense, right? So if you have like little bits of like smudgy yellow, it's totally fine. Part of the I guess pattern of the wood. Very where is it? Okay. Guys, 21 minutes. Cutting it very close here, but I think we're not doing so bad. Okay, next I'm going to go in and highlight my arrow shafts. So for the actual shafts, I'm just going to use a bit of bone here. And pull. We kind of pick out the tops of the feathers. Okay, just like that. And for the back ones, same thing. I'm just going to kind of pick out the edges here. A little bit of gray color in the crevasses. almost that like wet brushing technique again. Got that texture. Okay, and just gonna hit the backs of the shafts of the arrows again because the shafts are kind of sticking out the back, so those are gonna be black. And then while I have my black, I'm also gonna go pick out any sort of like black lining or anything, or any areas where I want to kind of differentiate a little bit more. I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, boom, and then there's a little bit of black. I just want to differentiate out near the end. Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, guys, so now I'm gonna go do the metals. Actually, I'm gonna do this little gray area. So for this little gray, maybe I'll just do a bit of that green. That green in there. Win. A pattern there. Go add a little bit of bone to that green. Mix it on my brush, basically. Just super loose. We're not really like, we're not really like we're thinking about it too hard. Just kind of getting in there, doing whatever like looks cool, adding some color. I don't really know what this is supposed to be. I want to make sure there's color there. All right. Okay, so now I'm gonna maybe go and highlight my my arrow shafts a little bit, and I'm gonna add a little bit of blue. That so just a little bit on the backs. Okay, just realized I missed a spot with the bone, so I'm gonna go back in there. Okay, all right, now I'm gonna grab my metallics. I wanted a really bright metallic for this, so I'm gonna use it. Hard to focus, but screw it. Eyes are getting tired. Nice bright gold. Okay. Where else? We got a little bit on the leg. Okay. Lost Jim? What happened? What lost? What did we lose? My stream stop? What are you talking about? Dang me. What's wrong, guys? Oh, that's weird. Anywhere. I guess my YouTube dropped, but my Twitch is still going. Okay, well, looks like my YouTube crapped out, but you guys just threw me off. I'm all rattled now. There, guys. Minutes. Gotta make sure the lack of time doesn't affect my painting quality. Or what happened? Like my YouTube died for some. I don't have time to be checking this, but oh well. Yeah, my YouTube is dead. That's okay. I'll finish on Twitch and then I will upload the full video on YouTube. Okay, what else? A little like a little sprue, that like piece of scraped plastic that like didn't get removed. You guys all hear me still at my back? A sign of life. You guys scared me with that I saw your chat that said you lost me, so that's why I was really confused, because I was like, what do you mean? I'm reading your chat, so how could you send that chat? How could I get it if I was gone? Okay, boom, there's that. Yeah, let's get into the crown there. Crown. Like a guy from Crown School. There, guys. That's weird. My YouTube seems to have gone down, but my Twitch is still live. I should probably really record these. Just relying on the stream to good, you know? Almost there. Alright guys, this is like a very finicky part and I don't have time to go and fix mistakes, so I'm gonna be quiet and focus on the part. Gold, water in there. Handle. 11 minutes, 11 minutes. Alright, what do I need to do here? Hit the shaft, finish it. Hit that shaft a little bit of white while I'm waiting, because you're going to see why in a sec. Remember I said I want to do a frost arrow. Hit it for some white while I have it out. Let that dry. Go on to the next gold. Okay, and then what I'm going to do... All of there. Part here. Time for this. There's like weird material and I can't tell what it is. Nearly. Oh. Damn it. Oh, that's okay. That's what I thought it was. Good. Drop of some. Alright, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of my lemon medium. I'm just going to mix it with a little bit of this green. This jade green. Going to add a little water. Go back over all the gold really quick with this kind of green. A little heavy, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more water to it. Hinge. Leg. Here. Hinging all this gold, this kind of white gold to green, and then I'm going to go in back my highlight color and just kind of re-highlight it on the tips. It'll be kind of like a gold, but like it'll have like a bit of a green glow almost, green hue. Kind of blend into the model. Really thin this. Leave the tops of those horns because go back over it anyways. Just to at this point. 8 minutes 29 seconds, guys. Shit, getting there. Gemstone on her head, I think. Yep. So I'm gonna hit the gemstone with a little bit of black. Okay, so while that's drying, I'm gonna grab a little bit of Aerodon turquoise. It's a contrast color. I'm gonna give it a lot of water and some white. The blue tinge. Come back to that in a sec. Okay. While I'm waiting for that gold to dry, I'm gonna grab a little bit of my black and just mix it on my brush, basically. A little bit of lighter gray. Go over this with a little dry brush. There is a skull here, but check out what I do here. I'm gonna just dry brush the skull a little bit more white. Normally would. That. And then I'm gonna go in with just like a I'll give it a sec, but then I'm gonna go back to the brown wash. Okay, my gold should be dry. I'll grab my fine detail. Go back in. Get all the edges here. And it's got shit. Fast, gotta move fast. What is that from? Gotta move fast, like Sonic. Gold. Corners. Okay. A little dark green on the edges there. Brown. Tips again. Five minutes, 35 seconds. All right, a little here. Okay, so there's my gold. Next, I'm gonna grab a little bit of that blue color, that contrast blue, and I'm gonna paint it in to the kind of cracks here. Painting it into the darkest little recesses of this arrow thing. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some pure white, mix it with a little bit of that blue. And I'm going to basically edge highlight it. pure white with a little bit of blue. I'm also going to kind of add a little bit of like streaks to it, so it looks like kind of cracked ice. Kind of like a little bit of random, like it's like cracked. Arrow. Okay, that's done, that's done, that's done. There's my base. So now my base is, my skull's base dry. I'm gonna grab a little bit of that contrast that I have in my wet palette. I'm just gonna wash that contrast. Bit of brown hue. And I'm just gonna hit the top with a little bit of bone. Your bone. Let that just blend in there. Like the capillary action is just gonna kind of pull the pull that color out without me having to really do much. Reducing a little bit of that bone there. Okay, so what's left here? My 3 minutes. So I'm gonna do the base. The basing is part of it. And for this one I want a lot of grass, so I'm gonna go pretty heavy here. Got static grasses. Here. Pliers. Go. Here. Different types. Grasses here. A little bit more in the bushes. Normal. Out in the field. More little tuft of yellow at the front. Grass a little bit. Alright, so I got 1 minute 51 seconds. Let's see what I can do in 1 minute 51 seconds to get it a little bit nicer. I'm going to add a touch more white to this ice arrow, just on the tips, pure white. Okay, oh yeah, the gem, I forgot the gem. What color should I do that? I'll do that just like a really bright pink. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do that red, because I got time. 1 minute 13. That way it'll pop against the rest of the model. Okay, and then to that red, I'm gonna add a lot of orange. Okay, gem's done. Okay, so anything else that I want to do? Maybe I'll grab a little bit of my white gold. 46 seconds. Do one more highlight on the gold. It's split. Split. Okay, no more white gold. We're gonna use silver instead. Silver, so a little bit of tip of silver, the very tips of the antlers, goes out. Slight bigger eye dot on the dot eye. Time's up. Alright. Last dot eye. There we go. Alright, guys. I'm not doing a face tap in the last 30 seconds. Alright. So, huzzah! So let me do the rim really quick, so that I can give you guys the kind of good look. And as I mentioned yesterday, when you're doing rims, I always use my primer block, because it's basically polyurethane, so it's a lot more like resilient than just like Chaos black paint or whatever. So you're gonna get a little bit more resilience out of it than, say, using just black. Not gonna rub off as easy. Wow, that model took me a lot longer than I thought. I thought I'd definitely be done in time. Dry for a sec. There's my wet palette, for everyone's wondering the craziness that I just went through. Woo, that was fun. That was intense. My white gold at the like the last minute, failing me like that. Oh man, that cost me. It was like I don't use the white gold very much, so it was like super split. So when I poured it, it's like this right here. It's just like straight medium. I think I need like a vortex mixer to kind of get it back to where it's supposed to be. And also what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna glue a rock or two on the base as well. Help kind of break up the grass. A little bit of glue there. Ah. Base. Touch the rim, sorry. Alright. Remember, rims don't count. That was the deal. Rims don't count. Alright. A little cleanup while I wait for the rim to dry, and then I'll show you guys I'll take a nice high def photo of it, and I'll pop it up on screen, okay? So let me just here. Waiting for it to dry. Any questions while you guys are waiting? About like anything? Oh, I'm like literally I'm going to put it in my my box, I guess, or my cart as soon as I'm done the stream. Fixing it. It's definitely getting bought. Okay, I'm just gonna do one more quick rim job. I always do 2 layers on the rims, so that, you know what, let's take a picture for you guys. And then I can do the rim job later. A little bit of blue tack. Alright, so what I want to do here, photo. Then I will pop up the photo on the screen. So this, as you're seeing, that feed is like a low def feed, but I can add in a high tech feed for you really quick. If I do that, I don't think I know. Here, let me just take one with my phone. You know what? You guys are gonna have to wait till the Instagram. So I'll post a proper photo on the Instagram. But there we go. Qulathis the Exile. Painted in 2 hours on stream. Yeah, man, of course. Seven coats of varnish, and you guys, we can all get together. That's the plan. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So, all right, guys, that's it. So tomorrow, 7 o'clock, politics and plastic, talking about composition scores, and then Wednesday we're gonna do another. Oh, actually, you know what? We got to roll to see which model we're gonna do next. So let me grab my models. So we got ogre dude, we got the chick, the gun dude, we got the sword stormcast, the dwarf, and then the old wizard. So I'm just gonna zoom out. Okay, so I got a D6 here. Okay, so we're gonna roll the D6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will determine what model we do next on Wednesday's stream. Any guesses? Okay, here we go. A 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's gonna be the dwarf on next week's stream. Oh, sorry, not next week's, next Wednesday's stream. All right, guys. I'll see you guys Dwarf Day. Happy Wednesday, Dwarf Day. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. I really appreciate all of you guys for tuning in and making me not feel so lonely. So have a great night. Thanks.